Okay, one thing I hear a lot about is that Agile is about getting rid of managers. In fact, I've even heard it said that the Agile Manifesto was basically a bunch of developers getting together and wanting to get managers off their backs. Now, there is some truth to this, but it's also not quite as simple as it sounds. So it's worth taking a moment to reflect on what management actually is. Management is a separation of concerns between putting your head down, getting work done, and thinking about how work gets done. If you don't do management, then you're probably just going to be producing loads of stuff really quickly all over the place. And it's probably true to say that with management, a team will always work better than it does without management. What I really want to talk about is to draw a distinction between managed teams, unmanaged teams and self-managed teams, three different concepts. And in a managed team, what you have is a complete separation of concerns. You have two different groups of people. The first group of people is getting on with doing some work. If you're talking about a programming team, they're actually writing code, writing tests, designing architectures, all of that sort of stuff. And then the second group of people, the managers, are choosing what work should be done. They're choosing when it should be done, they're choosing in what order it should be done, and they're choosing who should do it. Now, if you get rid of that second group of people and you just have the first group just putting their heads down and doing a load of work, then you have an unmanaged team. No management is happening. However, if you get rid of that second group of people and instead have that first group of people and they start deciding to do both jobs, they decide to get their heads down and do some work, but also occasionally look up a little bit and start thinking about what work they're going to do and in what order and all of that stuff, that's a self-managing team. Okay, so I've already said that it's probably true that if management is happening, you have better results than if it isn't happening. So you're not going to be surprised to hear that I think unmanaged teams are a bad idea. Personally, I think that self-managed teams are a way better idea than managed teams. And the reason for this is really simple. Self-managed teams have a much better understanding of the work, the complexities, and all of the difficulties that need to be taken into account when making these management decisions. So it's my opinion that the team doing the work are the best placed people to manage themselves, and you shouldn't have an external separate group of people. There's a second reason for that, which is as soon as you have one group of people telling another group of people what to do, how to spend their time, you introduce a power dynamic of one group doing what they're told by another group, and that's a really toxic idea, and it creates all sorts of complicated problems, particularly in a knowledge economy, which is where we are today. There's one point I do need to make about this though, which is if you're going to be in a self-managed team, that requires more knowledge and more skill than just putting your head down and doing the work. It requires caring about how the work gets done. It requires learning the techniques that you can use to make sure you're making sensible choices about what work gets done. Okay, that's it for today. So remember, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.